In this part, we'll talk about testing, assessment, and their relationship with teaching. Testing, assessment, and teaching are closely interrelated, and their relation is very important for the successful learning of a language. First, we'll see some of the differences between testing and assessment, because many users sometimes consider them synonymous, which is not. There are some differences, however, they are again, as I said earlier, related to each other. Test is a method of measuring somebody's ability, performance, or knowledge in some particular domain. In this case, the domain of language learning. As I said, a test is first a method. It may be considered as an instrument which is a set of procedures, techniques, or items. In order to qualify a test, a method should be explicit and structured. For example, a multiple choice questions test should provide right answers and should given proper choices from which a user or test taker might choose the right option. Similarly, a writing prompt with some scoring rubric and an oral interview should be based on some question script. All these examples provide us some ways in which a method could possibly be a test. Secondly, we need to know that our test must measure something. As I said, it may measure somebody's general ability in a language or some specific skill in a language. In this regard, we could see that a multi-skilled proficiency test may be designed to know students' general ability in a target language. However, a quiz on knowing students' knowledge about definite articles may work around knowing their specific skills in grammar. Whenever conducting a test, testers should be able to know the background of their test takers and their previous learning experiences. They are very important so that they may not make a test which would be beyond the reach of the test takers and may provide the counterproductive results. We also know that a test also measures a particular domain. Tests which are usually all pervasive may not be that productive. Tests should focus on certain domains of learning. For example, in language learning, they might focus on some particular domain of language learning. For example, vocabulary or syntax or some uses of the language. Tests usually occur at different and definite times in curriculum. They are used to assess students' ability to know certain components of curriculum or syllabus. On the other hand, assessment is an ongoing process, and it happens quite frequently during the learning process. And assessment is usually said to focus more on learning. And it may happen sometimes frankly or informally whenever a student produces a new sentence in the class or says a word, teacher directly or indirectly gives a feedback. And that feedback may be considered as an assessment. Tests are not, though they are different, but they are also a part of the assessment. They are considered to be a subset of the assessment. And they are one among many procedures and tasks which are used to assess students, especially language learners. If you just look at this picture, you can see that teaching is the overall thing, and we have assessment and tests which are used to measure students' overall learning based on certain language teaching. Assessment is the bigger thing, and tests fall within them. So we do have assessment in teaching, and assessment is considered important for the successful happening of any teaching. within this assessment, we do have tests which are more structured and measured as compared to other methods of assessment. As I said earlier, teaching is an overall process and it includes assessment and testing both. Teaching sets off the goals of learning, teaching sets off different opportunities for the language learners to work on. It provides games to practice and many other things to learn. And assessment is a way to know how far students have been able to learn all those or make benefit from those opportunities provided by a teacher. However, there is an important point to be considered at the end. We need to see that is assessment a constant process during teaching? Do teachers always assess their students without any other interaction with them? Well, that's a critical question for all the teachers, and one should always remember that too much of assessment may be counterproductive, because students may be threatened by the notion that they are being assessed all the time, and it may hamper their confidence to participate in the classroom or learn from the classroom.